So we've got this incredibly powerful thing, Agentic AI. It could totally transform government services, right? But here's the catch. In places where decisions literally change people's lives, their health, their financial stability, how do you let AI take the wheel without, losing control? That's the huge challenge we're going to unpack in this explainer. Building AI that's powerful, but always answers to a human.
All right, so here's how we're going to break it all down. First up, we'll look at what's called the swivel chair crisis. It's a real problem burning out government workers right now. Then, we'll talk about AI, how it's both the hero and maybe the villain here. That leads us to the core idea, the human in control principle. After that, we'll get into the nitty-gritty of how you actually build a framework for that control, see a real-world example, and then we'll wrap up with the big picture idea, that the future is all about augmentation.
Okay, so before we can even talk about the fix, we really have to get our heads around the problem. And for a lot of health and human services agencies, the problem is, well, it's a system that's just stretched to the absolute limit. We're talking about decades of technical debt piling up.
And if you want a number to really see the scale of this, check this out. Some of these agencies are seeing improper payment rates as high as 15%. Now, that's not just some small accounting mistake. It's a massive symptom of an overwhelmed system. Think about it. That's huge financial waste and just pure operational chaos.
In this quote, it just nails the human cost of all this. The source material paints this perfect, painful picture of caseworkers literally stuck in a swivel chair reality. Imagine this. You're manually plugging information from a modern website into a 40-year-old mainframe system. All day long. It's not just slow, it's a recipe for total burnout.
So, you're probably thinking, okay, I get it, the system's broken. Why don't we just automate everything? And yeah, Agentic AI looks like the perfect answer, but it's a classic double-edged sword. It comes with incredible promise, but also some really serious peril.
This really lays out the two sides of the coin, doesn't it? On one hand, the promise is nothing short of transformation, but on the other, the peril is just as real, especially when you're dealing with something like Medicaid. Unchecked AI isn't innovation, it's a massive compliance breach just waiting to happen, and that has real, serious consequences for people who depend on these services. So, this is where we have to flip the script. The goal here isn't to build some autonomous system that just replaces people. No, the goal is to build a digital coworker. Think of it like an AI assistant that handles all the tedious, repetitive work, but leaves the human caseworker in complete, total, unquestionable authority.
So how do you actually build something like that? It all boils down to one fundamental design principle: architecting your entire system for accountability right from the start. And that core idea is called human in the loop. Human in the loop, or HITL for short, is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. It's a model where the AI is literally programmed to stop at critical points in a process. It simply cannot move forward with a big decision, like, say, denying someone's benefits, until a human being gives it the green light. The person isn't just a spectator here. They are an active, essential gatekeeper in the whole process.
And look, this has to be practical, right? Because caseworkers work 9 to 5, not 24/7. So the whole workflow is asynchronous. Here's how it works. The AI agent gets to a checkpoint at, say, 4:59 p.m. on a Friday. It saves its entire state, everything it was working on, to a database, and then basically clocks out. That task then pops up in the human caseworker's inbox, all ready for them to review first thing Monday morning. Pretty clever.
Okay, so having the principle is great, but how do you actually make it happen? That's the next step. Let's dig into the actual rulebook, the specific controls and governance tools that let you put this responsible AI into practice.
Now, it's super important to know the difference between two models here. There's human in the loop, HITL, where the human is that active gatekeeper we talked about. But then there's also human on the loop, or HOTL. That's different. In HOTL, the system just runs on its own and only flags a human if it thinks something's wrong. For these high-stakes government jobs, we are absolutely focused on HITL, that active, preventative control.
And when you need the absolute highest level of control, you use what's called mandatory review. This is the strictest form of HITL. It means every single decision the AI wants to make, 100% of them, has to get a thumbs up from a human before it can happen. If you're ranking autonomy on a scale of 1 to 5, this is a solid 2. It's what you use for the most critical, can't get it wrong actions.
So, to make all this work, developers have a whole toolkit of levers they can pull. They can design very specific intervention points where the AI has to pause. They can create clear escalation pathways for weird edge cases. And crucially, they build in shutdown mechanisms, kill switches, as the ultimate fail-safe.
All right, theory is one thing, but what does this look like in the real world? Let's take a look at the Zap platform, which the source material uses as a case study, to see how all these principles actually get built into a working system.
So Zap built all these controls right into its DNA. It uses a special kind of database so workflows can be paused indefinitely, even for days. All the human review stuff gets funneled into one central agent inbox. And this is cool. It has something called a difference engine that literally highlights the exact changes the AI is proposing. This makes it super fast and easy for a caseworker to see what's going on and approve it.
And this leads to a really powerful concept. For AI to be truly responsible, safety and governance can't be an afterthought. They can't be something you just bolt on at the end. They have to be the kernel, the very core of the system, not just a wrapper you put around it.
And what does that mean in practice? It means building in things like super strict, role-based access so only the right people can do certain things. It means having gateways that automatically strip out sensitive personal information. And maybe the most important part, forensic auditability. Every single action, by human or AI, gets recorded in a way that can't be changed, so you have a permanent, rock-solid record to trace back any decision.
But let's talk about the worst-case scenario, the nightmare. What if an agent starts doing something it shouldn't, or ignores a command to stop? What's the final, ultimate line of defense? 60 seconds. That's the answer. The platform has a global kill switch, one button that can halt or suspend every single autonomous agent across the entire system, and it does it in less than a minute. This isn't just some theory. It's a real operational tool that guarantees humans are always in control.
Okay, let's pull back for a second and look at the big picture. All this technology, all these layers of control, what are they all for? Well, they all serve one single overarching philosophy for the future of AI in public service.
The future of modernizing government isn't about ripping everything out and starting from scratch. That's too disruptive. Instead, it's about surgical optimization. It's about intelligently wrapping these old legacy systems with AI to give people immediate relief and more capacity, all while keeping the existing human workforce and the core systems right where they are. And that brings us full circle, right back to the core principle we started with. This entire framework, top to bottom, is built on one non-negotiable idea. AI must augment human expertise. It's there to help, to amplify, to make humans better at their jobs, never, ever to replace them.
So, let's end with a question to chew on. As this technology keeps getting more and more powerful, the real challenge for us is to change how we think. We need to move beyond just automation and toward collaboration. So the question is, how can we build not just automated systems, but true digital coworkers?